Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode, Chomp at the Bit. I know it's been a few days since I've uploaded an episode, but with Christmas coming around and all that, thought I'd take a little bit of a break. But guarantee you, going into 2023, we're gonna keep going as we have been so far. Got some new things I'm gonna bring to the channel. Um, some live play-by-play reactions. I might bring some, game play because I am a gamer as well, some sports gaming onto the channel. So hopefully, you like what's been going on so far this year. But next year, I'm guaranteed it's gonna be much better. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Sorry, and the notification bell. That way, get up to date, and it really helped me out. But before I have my engagement on Sports Empire Network tonight, which is 7 o'clock p.m. pre-gaming pigskin. We're going to go over some of these NFL games as well. I thought I'd give you my picks before, you know, doing that doing that show on the network. Last week I went 9-7. I pick against the spread. Hopefully I can keep that up this week. We'll see. A lot of good games on the schedule again. The NFL has lucked out that so many teams are still in the playoff race. That pretty much all these games mean something in the grand scheme of things. So we'll go through them. Got the little split screen going. Hopefully you like this little formatted change that I've kind of gone with, whether it's tier list or one of these. I hopefully you enjoy because I have fun doing them, and trust me, these will continue in 2023 as well. Well, let's go ahead. Let's get through these games. Let's stop wasting. I'll stop wasting your time. All right, so Thursday night, Cowboys Titans. Now, what are we gonna do for this one? The Titans are down to their third string quarterback. No Tannehill, no Malik Willis. It's Joshua Dobbs. We have seen situations where the opposition may not have been game planning for a certain quarterback. He comes in, gives the team a spark, and they pull off a win. Here, I kind of don't see that happening. I think the Cowboys are a better team. The Titans have been in a downward spiral lately. They're trying to fight off the Jaguars for the AFC South title. Now, luckily for the Titans, their season comes down to next week against Jacksonville because they have the same record right now. So no matter what happens this week, the Titans won't be eliminated. Cowboys are kind of locked in as the 5 seed. Tony Pollard's out. Michael Parsons is questionable. Maybe you sit him out because of uh, it's a hand injury. You don't want him to injure it further in a game that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I'm gonna go the Cowboys here minus 9.5. That's a big line. I know. It scares me a little bit, but I'll stick with it and we'll see if it comes true or not. All right, for some of these games that don't really matter, not a lot of analysis is needed. So Falcons, Cardinals. Falcons 3.5 point favorite. Cardinals no Kyler Murray, of course. Kingsbury could be his last few games coaching, but I'll go Falcons here, the 3.5. It's important for Desmond Ritter though. I don't want to say that. I'm not gonna, you know, deny that he doesn't have something to prove because he's fighting for the starting job next season. Because they could very easily go back to Mariota, but if Ritter plays well, he'll be fine. Lions need this one. They dropped a winnable game last week, but they didn't come out to play. So they definitely need to regroup for this one. The Bears, we've seen Justin Fields do some crazy things, but they're not looking to win right now. I think the Lions bounce back, get this win, get back to 500. But if they lose this one, then yeah, they're pretty much done at that point. All right, Broncos Chiefs. I mean, once again, this is one where the spread scares me. 13.5. But with the Broncos, they just fired Hackett. I, I don't know. I'll just go with the Chiefs here, even with that spread being almost 2 touchdowns. But it seems like the team is just a lot of turmoil around Russell Wilson and his play this season. The Chiefs still have something to play for. They're trying to get that number 1 seed. So I think you know, they like a 17-point win here, but I think the Chiefs cover. This game, Dolphins Patriots, looks even different after the news with Tua being out. Teddy Bridgewater is going to start. Patriots are fighting for their lives as well. They need this game to have a chance to make the playoffs. Now, whether or not you believe that my Patriot should be a playoff team, that's up for debate. But I mean, there's a lot of questions around Mac Jones. Whether they should trade him and all this kind of stuff. So around both teams, there's a little bit of not necessarily drama, but there's some news behind both teams right now. I think the Patriots find a way to do it. Bridgewater is a much different quarterback than Tua. Bridgewater is a very accurate guy, but I think the Patriots defense right now can do enough to keep the Dolphins offense down, and hopefully we see more of the Mac Jones to Kendrick Bourne connection that we saw last week against who was it? I just drew a blank because the Raiders game was the week before. Last week was the Bengals, and Bourne stepped up big, so maybe we see more of that at this game. So I got the Patriots minus the 2.5. Colts, Giants, give me the Giants. Colts going nowhere. They turned to Nick Foles now. He looked terrible last week. The Giants look like they may hold on to a playoff spot if they get a win here. I think they would probably clinch one based off of, depending on what happens in some other games that I pick here. But Giants looking to claim that spot. I think they get the win here. Saints, Eagles. Saints have nothing to play for. Eagles, I'm assuming Jalen Hurts is out again. Although I believe he did practice this week, but really no reason to play him against the Saints. So, touchdown favorite, basically. Yeah, I'll take the Eagles here. Bucks, Panthers. This game, another one, playoff implications, because for the Panthers, if they can continue their winning streak that they've been on, they could actually win this division. In order to do that, they'd have to beat the Bucks on Sunday. The Bucks, we know, I've been saying it for like 5-6 weeks. At some point, they're going to figure it out. They really haven't done so. So this is going to be a tough one, but I'm trusting Brady and the Bucks to get the win, because this is the win that they definitely need. If they get this one, they would eliminate Carolina. Atlanta's already been eliminated. And I believe if it goes as I said with the Saints and the Eagles, the Bucks would end up winning the division with this game. Browns, Commanders. This is an interesting one. The Commanders have made the questionable move and going back to Carson Wentz after Taylor Heineke's lost a couple of games in a row here. I mean, last time we saw Wentz, the team did not look good. So it's going to be interesting to see what the team looks like with Wentz under center again. And does Wentz make it through the whole game because of Wentz struggles? And the Commanders need this win because, where a couple of weeks ago I thought they might have been one of the better teams to get that 7th seed. Last couple of weeks haven't looked that great. So, if Wentz goes in there, plays, they lose another game. I mean, momentum might be against them and they find themselves out of the playoffs here. So, we'll see. Does Wentz make it through the game? Does Wentz play like a quarter, struggle? They put Heineke back in, and maybe that's what Heineke needs. He needs to be the guy who comes in to save the day, and maybe he plays better. The Browns, another game with Deshaun Watson. We'll see if there's any development there with him in terms of getting back to his old self when he was with the Texans. But I'm gonna go with the Commanders. Yeah, I trust that they'll get it done, get to 8-7-1, get that much closer to earning that final playoff spot. Jaguars, Texans. This is going to be an interesting one as well because I think recent history, Jacksonville has struggled against Houston for whatever reason. And right now they're sitting number 1 in the AFC South. So this is a game that Jags could prove a point, and that little streak against the Texans. The Texans, though, are coming in riding the high of beating the Titans last week, I believe. And Texans obviously their season's over, but I really like what they're doing. They seem like they've rallied behind Lovey Smith. They're playing hard for him. It's just that they have to get their quarterback situation addressed, which they'll do in the draft, I'm assuming. But I'm gonna sit here and say I think the Jaguars finally find a way to beat the Texans, get to 8-8, and gear up for next week. That's the only issue here. It could be a trap game because Jacksonville doesn't get eliminated if they lose, and they don't clinch if like Tennessee loses tonight or anything like that. So if they're looking past this game to next week where their whole season comes down to, I could see the Texans, squeezing this one out, but I'll go with the Jags. The 3.5 is scary because could I see like a late field goal for the Jacksonville to win it? Yes, but I'm gonna say Jacksonville wins this one by say 6 points. Niners Raiders. Okay, so the Raiders they've just benched Derek Carr. I believe Derek Carr's like left the team, so it looks like Derek Carr played his last game for the Raiders last week. They're going with Jarrett Stidham. Patriots fans, you know Jarrett Stidham from Auburn back in the day. So he gets to start against a Niners team that has a tough defense. And for the Niners, they're playing to try to get the 2 seed. I think they still have an outside shot at the 1 seed, but I don't think they do anymore. But they could get to the 2 seed. So this is the game that they're going to really push for. And I think we see some more Purdy magic, and the Niners get the win. Let's see, Jets Seahawks, another interesting game because the Seahawks they're kind of running out of time, and they were such a feel-good story all year. You'd really hate to see it end up with them falling just short of making the playoffs. The Jets, actually, it's kind of the same thing with the Jets. The Jets were a feel-good story outside of New England, well, outside of Boston, of course, because us Patriots fans we're never rooting for the Jets, but um, they looked like they were going to be a legit playoff team early in the season. They really struggled down the stretch, and now both teams find themselves at 7-8. Both teams find themselves outside of the playoffs. I think the Seahawks situation is probably a little bit, it's probably a little better than the Jets, but that's gonna be interesting one. Interesting for sure. That Jets defense is tough. Geno's kind of come back to earth the last couple of weeks. Can Pete Carroll and those guys get Geno Smith back to how he was early in the season? They'll have the home crowd behind them, so maybe that helps. Jets have so many questions at the quarterback position as well. I'm gonna go Seahawks here plus 2.5. I think they get the win here. I think the Jets drop another one, and I believe at that point they would be eliminated. Vikings Packers. Vikings are trying to hold on to the 2 seed. I think they still have an outside shot at the 1 seed, but that seems like a foregone conclusion that the Eagles will get it. Vikings, I think they need this one for their psyche as well because the Packers are coming in with playoff hopes still alive. So if the Vikings could, seriously, put a hurt on the Packers' chances against the division foe, especially against the Packers franchise that, Packers and Vikings have been pretty big rivalry over years. With the Vikings actually being good this year, I think this will be a statement game for those Kirk Cousins Vikings non-believers who think that they're kind of a sham 2 seed in the NFC. If they beat a team in Green Bay that's playing well right now, I think that proves a lot. And hopefully the Vikings view it this way as well, because maybe this is a win that if they get it could go a long way for them. The Vikings defense is a little questionable. The Packers offense is definitely questionable. But this will be an interesting one. Part of me could see the Vikings winning this. But then there's that small part of me that thinks the Packers could end up sneaking into the playoffs, which, to be honest with you, is a nightmare to me. But let's go Vikings here. Let's yeah, go with the Vikings. They prove something to themselves, prove something to those who don't believe in them as being that good of a team. Hey, if you beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers right now, especially in Green Bay, that's a statement win. Rams, Chargers. I mean, what are the Rams really playing for at this point? Nothing. Give me the Chargers. 6.5, decent size spread. But yeah, I think the Chargers get this one. I mean, they just clinched the playoff spot, so they're riding high as well. I think Herbert, those guys are doing well. They still have a shot to get to was it the 5 seed, which I think is a great spot to be. That way you get the AFC South winner. So give me the Chargers over the Rams. Steelers, Ravens. These two teams played a couple of weeks ago. Kenny Pickett started, got hurt. Trubisky came in, crapped the bed. 3 interceptions later, Ravens pull off a squeaker. So now this time around, Pickett is starting again. Lamar Jackson's out. So I'm assuming it's Huntley starting. The game being in Baltimore does help Baltimore out in this case. But I have a weird feeling the Steelers pull the upset here because, the whole Franco Harris thing. So a lot of emotion with this Steelers team. Mike Tomlin is still trying to keep his streak alive of consecutive seasons without finishing under 500. So if he's going to keep that up, he's got to win this week and next week. I think they find a way to get it done. We know the Ravens aren't going to put up a lot of points, so it's whether or not Pickett can get to 20 points for the Steelers. I think if they could do that, they'd win this one over the Ravens. So give me the Steelers plus the 3.5. All right, the final game, Monday Night Football, Bills Bengals. This is going to be the game of the week for sure. I mean, I'm one who's said on here a couple of times, the Bills are a good team, yes. But you know what? Give me Joe Burrow on the Bengals. I think with this game being in Cincinnati, and Burrow's the type, Burrow's going to want all the smoke from Josh Allen and Buffalo. Hopefully this game turns into a shootout. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be mad to see like a 45-42 thriller with Burrow and Allen just, throwing dimes all over the field. So, yeah, give me the Bengals plus half a point. I mean, that's as razor thin of a spread as you'll see. And in terms of a score, I guess is the tiebreaker, which I mean, whatever. We'll play the game here. So total points, I just said 45-42. I'll back off of that a little bit. Let's go 38-35 Bengals. So that's what, 73 points. That's what I'm going with. And yeah, make sure all the picks are made. We're good there. So there you are. Those are my picks. You guys let me know down in the comment section which ones you agree with, which ones you think I'm crazy about. Remember, it's against the spread. So you let me know. And let me know if you had a great Christmas. If you enjoyed what you got, enjoyed the time with your family. Let me know down in the comment section. And if you have any ideas, I guess, for the channel and all that for 2023, let me know down there as well. I'm open to any suggestions from you guys because definitely appreciate it. It's been a good year for the channel for sure, especially the second half of the year. So hopefully we ride that momentum into 2023 and beyond. So really appreciate you guys. As I always say, be safe out there. God bless. And I'll catch you on the next episode. All right, guys, have a good one.